I think I benefit Oxygen. I do, even though Oxygen is a great is a great control and execution team. When it comes to escalation, I think the ball's more so in their court, more so than that of Elevate, who Elevate again is a team that has done very well when it comes to control, more importantly execution, given their history. Coming into Vascar Escalation, I do think, at least if I had to predict it in any way, I do believe Oxygen is going to win this map and be up 2-1. Now, when we get to Reactor control, I mean, it's up in the air with that one, given the fact that Regency in at 300 to 280. Clearly, Elevate came with their A game today. I just hope we don't get to another game 5, right? That's the biggest thing, because you said heartbreak is it, and I hope we don't get another heartbreak with Elevate tonight.
Well, we also have seen Elevate play very good on Reactor. So if Elevate can find a win here and go up 2-1, we've seen Elevate close out Reactor maps against very good teams where they get those final kills over by the Torpo, I believe it was. But I really do believe that this is going to be a situation where they need to win right here. They need to win this map 3 to try to have that chance to get to a map 5. I don't want to see them get snowballed by Oxygen at this point.
Yeah, well, Oxygen can very well do that. Just see how it ends up faring off. I mean, after all, Elevate did in fact win map 1, so this is great for them. And starting off, we see Yogurt already getting the Lancer down onto one player. It's going to be Abolics, ended up falling to the wayside. Noxious will get the pickup, and that's going to be the 2-1, almost going to the way of Elevate, but they're going to back off of that and continue to rotate around the map and try and isolate these members of Oxygen who continue to come off the respawn. A very interesting play from Elevate, Colin.
Right now, I think the interesting play is that Elevate is very spread. They're playing just outside of the spawn of Oxygen, and with that kill, a player's going to come off of respawn here with full spawn protection to try to challenge either player. And he actually goes toward that D hill, that second half home hill. Elevate gets that double kill right there, and right now the spread, while 2-1 hills in favor of Oxygen, is a very awkward spread. Elevate has to worry about multiple players. Crushmo trying to get this flank angle out. I think Crushmo has to be killed off right here. They can't let him have this 90 degree as they're trying to take back their home hill. A big miss by Abolics, if you ask me.
Big miss indeed. And Zoom taken down by Zenun. As Elevate retakes that 2-1 advantage. Yogurt trying to bait and switch with his teammate of Noxious. Doesn't need help though, as he'll take down Pushyz in the meantime. And Zenun will get the break onto C, and that unorthodox strategy from Elevate off the rip, not choosing to cap C, but spreading themselves a bit thin, seems to have paid off as they look to take round number 1, and in a pretty dominant fashion. Well done from Elevate. Oxygen gets a couple more touches here, but only no way they come out of this. Woo. With those team pickups, I was like, maybe they do, but finally Elevate locks it in place. Abolics is there for maybe a touch, but doesn't get it. And well done. Elevate takes round number 1, and you said it best, man. If they can win this map here, going into Reactor, there's a chance Oxygen is going to be defeated, and Elevate will pull off an upset.
Any given Tuesday, right, my brother? Any given Tuesday, you can come out and get a victory over somebody here in Pro League. Well, now it could be any given Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If you come out on E-days, it could be any given Thursday. Astro Battle still might be taking place on Fridays. My God, you could beat anybody on any day. You know what? Let's just say it. At the end of the day, on Sunday, it's the Lord's Day, and you better come out fighting and swinging come Monday to Friday.
Man. Any given day, brother. I love the fact that we have so much gears. Like, just, it's crazy to me. Literally, Monday through Friday. We don't have anything on Saturdays. We got Sunday Challengers, and everybody's streaming that. You know,
hold on, time out. We ain't got nothing Saturday. Boy, I'm grinding ranked on Saturday. What are you talking about? What do you mean we ain't got Saturday? Okay. Hey, let's be real. We do have something going on every single day of the week when it comes to gears. That's a beautiful thing. Give yourself a pat on the back, guys. Seriously. And if anybody walks in your room while you're patting yourself on the back and they think it's weird, just tell them why you're doing it and explain because you're awesome. Okay. Tell them Taylor told you to do it.
Yeah, and then they're going to be even more confused. Like, who's Taylor? Why are they telling you to pat yourself on the back? Regardless, though, Yogurt opens up with 1, but not going to be able to get the second. He's going to get dropped, and Oxygen does have the 2-1 advantage. Player 4 is going to play around onto B. He'll be met head-on, though, with one of the players from, that's going to be Rocky, actually. Rocky now in a 1v2, but holding his ground full red, and he's got some help from the flank.
He does get help from the respawn, actually. Good job by Rocky, actually playing that a little bit slower, allowing his teammates to come back off of respawn and pressure toward that B hill. They got the 2-1 hill advantage here. They're going to be able to set up here at the elevated standpoint on the map. All 4 players from Elevate will be up in the next second or two, and now they're going to be able to push out. It looks like 3 players are going to push toward that B hill. I like the information gather right there. Double mark, and they can see Noxious. They know that Noxious is there and can pressure across the map at any given time. Quick first down and the double answer. Another double answer gets a second down. Crushmo has one more before he's dead again, and that shuts down the early push. So now Crushmo has to stay back, but the headshot from Abolics. Oh, goodness gracious. Good God almighty. Gets a kill there on Zenun.
Noxious put themselves in a great spot to tie up this map 1-1. I don't see Elevate breaking through the defensive setup. Maybe they can, but they're taking it pretty slow, and that's because Oxygen clearly has the numbers on them and the map positioning. So Elevate's going to give it one last hoorah, and I believe when Yogurt spawns up, he'll probably join player 4 on the opposite end. Or he might even join the rest. No, they're going to go for that 2-2 split, Colin.
Yeah, they're going to have to try to they're going to have to go for a full-fledged push. Zenun in the hill. He's going to try to get this decap. He does get it off, but the extra angle comes out. They get the kill. Doesn't matter what happens here at B, really. As long as they delay it long enough for them to recap up their home, it's all over. But the crying, that'll be 1-1. And Oxygen with a great answer there. This could very well go back and forth if both teams continue to win from that strong side.
Yeah, absolutely could. Yeah, that strong side, right? Making a pretty big difference that a rival spawn has always typically been the stronger side to give you the advantage. Rocky, what are we going to place down? The Bull Talk? Oh, what? All right. Don't get to see it just yet, but I think it's got to be the Bull Talk. That's what we typically see coming out. Zenun most likely placing a Bull Talk down for himself. And we'll get the party started with the new reticle that you've been such a big fan of.
Hooray!
The crowd goes wild.
Woo!
We got the retro. Excuse me.
Got an invisible retro.
We do. You love to see it. Newly added. Xena just emoting. No, he's not, guys. We were having a bit of an issue. We'll be getting that fixed relatively soon. Don't worry. But this is about to be pretty fun to watch. All right, we got the guns back. They're back. We're back, baby. We're back. You love to see it. So, B.
Have you ever seen somebody leave the armory without their weapon?
Like
I love how that stopped you dead in the tracks. You're like, wait, what?
I'm saying in real life, I'm thinking to myself, like, in real life?
Has anybody gone to training? Like, anybody gone to training, gone to formation, just didn't have their rifle?
Let me...
Oh, don't laugh.
No, you're saying in the real military? Like, we're actually talking real life?
We're talking real life out here, baby. We're talking real life out here.
If you're, let me give some advice to the chat. If any of you guys are joining the military, planning on joining the military, if you are assigned a rifle, a weapon, right? Because it's not a gun, rifle or a weapon, and you leave and you're in basic training and you go to formation without your rifle or your weapon and it's not accounted for, brother, you are going to get smoked so hard the walls are going to sweat. Matter of fact, your whole squad, your whole freaking platoon is just going to get tore up. You keep your weapon on you. If you're assigned a weapon, you always have accountability. There you go. That's just the advice I got to give you whenever you're joining the military. Bottom line, period, Colin. You're bringing back PTSD that I didn't need at this point in my life. Okay, I'm done with that phase.
I want you to know that's my new favorite moment in history for casting.
What's
like,
that?
Hearing the pain in your voice when you're like, your whole platoon is gonna get smoked.
They will, like, if you, in basic training, brother, if you lose your weapon, like if you legitimately lose your weapon, the entire base gets shut down. You can't leave, you can't enter until that weapon is found. That's how real it is. That's some real stuff, man. We'll play around with that. Like,
what if you lose the firing pin?
Well, if you lose, I mean, equally as bad. Like, to be honest, but like, you still have your rifle. The base isn't shut down, but I mean, you lose that firing pin, you're getting smoked either way, brother. It's unexcusable. That doesn't happen.
This has been a great round that we haven't paid attention to.
No, that doesn't happen. Sorry, brother. You just opened up a can of worms and PTSD. I'm telling you, I didn't need that because I'm done with that chapter of my life, but now you're bringing it all back and it's fresh.
I'm never going to let that go for you.
I never messed up. I just want to make that clear. I never messed up. I was always accountable.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, when you run into Taylor Reflections Noble at a Gears land, you salute that man, all right?
No, you don't, because I'm enlisted, and you don't salute an enlisted member.
Hey, look, I'm going to salute you as because you just put up with me. It's going to be a big-ass hug.
I'm not an operator. I'm nothing special, okay? I just did my time and I got out. It is what it is,
Specialist
man. Check
Noble, I see you, baby. You say you're nothing special, but you special. Come on now.
All this,
Come on now.
All right, Elevate's got a good lead, Colin. Hey, Oxygen looking to fight him back, though, tooth and nail. It's not going to happen, though, because player 6 Zoom, he's not going to manage to get onto A. Even if he did win the fights, it wasn't going to be enough, and he doesn't win the fights. Good attempt from Oxygen, but Elevate, they'll close it out, and they'll lead 2-1. Once again, showcasing that strong side clearly beneficial for both rosters.
Strong side coming through for both teams just yet. Both teams winning on it so far, and that's what gives Elevate the 2-1 lead here in map number 3 on Escalation Vasgar. We go over to Zenun now, getting ready to place down a weapon. 10 seconds left before he gets that placement off as well. What are they going to decide on here? It could be anything. Could be, by the way, anything. It was anything.
I think
it was something. Fair. It wasn't anything. It was something. That's what it was.
Fair to assume it's a bolt talk. It could be a shock, though. It definitely could be a shock and get rid of the retro, but most likely going to be the bolt talk. With how Vasgar plays, as we know, we'll have a fun little breakout once again. We'll get to see what's going to be into the hands of the players, and I believe, is it going to be a bolt talk?
That's a good back A out by Rocky. Double bounce in. Lines up the second shot. Gets that kill and helps out. Get the down on Zenun. That's a triple kill. Give him the trip in the kill feed, baby. Give him the highlight reel play. Crushmo is about to get flanked here momentarily. Rocky gets the sight onto him, but they're off a respawn already. Rocky has to worry about the extra lives coming back from that next respawn. He killed him so damn quick by the time he made it to the C hill. They were back off a respawn. They were like, what are you doing over here, man?
What you doing in my neck of the woods, man? You're in the wrong hood, brother. We're in the wrong hood. You're about to get messed up. Crushmo has hit Abolics with every shot he possibly can. If Abolics walks away with that elim, I would have been very disappointed and upset for Crushmo. I'm just being real with you. Now he's got a chance, though, to redeem himself in a 1v2. He's got Rocky just up above, Zoom as well, and he's got help from the flank. This is a great spot for Elevate. They're going for a domination shortly.
Yeah, they're trying to. They already got B Hill. They've got a couple of players mounted up here. All 4 players from Oxygen, though, in the area. You beautiful 90-degree angle coming from the big stairwell. The downs are starting to come through, but none of those kills are converted. Triple cap domination being threatened momentarily. Just a few more seconds to get into the hill. Pushyz gets there. Now 2 players coming off of that A hill back to the C hill. Pushyz back off into the middle. He's trying to get back into the fray now. Trying to find a teammate to help. Gets marked out. Won't be able to get the wrap. Goes for a little back A. Won't be able to get that one. You see, though, Elevate wins in 70 seconds as they have the 2-1 hill advantage, and they get 2 kills across the map. It's a 4v2 mounted up now. Zenun gets peppered up by Pushyz. He tries to go for a little roadie stray, but won't be able to get it just yet. Kills come through. They need to get hills, though. They need to get, needs to get most of these hills and kills in this next rotation as they come back off a respawn.
Good shots coming out from Abolics as Elevate looks to push them back, gain control of C if they possibly can. Elevate still with that minor lead, so there's an opportunity to alleviate this pressure and take the lead, or at least maintain that lead for themselves, winning their bad side theoretically, or not the strong side, right? I wouldn't say bad side or not, but winning their weak side theoretically, and leading the 3-1 would be great for them, which honestly would be wonderful for Elevate, given the fact that Oxygen, I favored them in Escalation, but if Elevate can lead heading into Reactor, man, we already talked about it. We'll talk about it again. This is going to be a great position for Elevate to be in general. It looks like the 2-1 going back to the favor of Oxygen as they are fighting back hard, and the win condition goes back to their side.
I think what we need to worry about right here is Oxygen. Player 7 is a little bit too far away for my liking from 8. He doesn't have an angle on these players if they come down these stairs. I like this rotation right now. They need to get him in that position to be able to lance those players as they come up toward those stairs, up toward that big stairwell. It'll shut them down a little bit quickly. They move a 3rd player over. Player 2 coming through the middle of the map. Crushmo is going to get called out here on the backside of that ledge, and that's going to slow down Rocky from being able to lance her out there. Crushmo, what are you getting ready to throw, my dude? Because you should have thrown it a year ago, because you basically gave up a 90% damage percentile over to the side of Rocky before he moved in and got a 1-shot down on you. They double cap up these hills. 10 seconds to go. That's going to be all tied up 2-2. We will go to the second half with a tie ball game.
And in my opinion, that's a big round loss for Elevate. To be so close, to play that round so well, only to have it slip through your fingertips, gives the momentum back over towards Oxygen, which again, they shouldn't have won that round, but they did because of some solid plays. But more importantly, Elevate just losing it at the tail end of that round. Tied up 2-2, as you said, tied ball game. Once again, we'll go back into the weapon placements. You shouldn't see anything out of the ordinary with it being tied up 2-2. You might see something crazy, but I highly doubt it. Most likely going to be, again, your retros, your shocks, your ensigns, and that's pretty much going to be how this map is going to flow between Elevate and Oxygen, unless, again, something crazy happens.
I'm trying to just say, look at my man Zenun and Yogurt out here with the double-digit damage, the 10K and the 11K, but look at Oxygen. This is a tie ball game, and all 4 players from Oxygen. Over 10,000 damage, Yogurt playing back now, and I've got to call something out in just a moment, and I'll wait to see, because Bernie doesn't technically count because she's brand new with Operation 8. But, like, I think all 4 players, if I can see Crushmo for a second. Oh, Crushmo. Okay, never mind. I was wrong.
I was waiting for some storyline or lore to come out, man.
It was going to be lore, because Noxious and Yogurt are technically using the generic skins for Marcus and Foz. They're using literally the skins that come in the game. I always find it funny because, like, I never see a pro player use a generic skin unless they're, like, forced to. Does that make sense? Like, unless they, like, it's a brand new account or something crazy.
Right.
So, I was, for a moment, I was like, are all 4 of them using generic skins, like, first one?
Ooh, Oxygen going for a domination. This is a big round for them, and they will take it lead 3-2 in the second half, winning the first round of the second half, rather. And that's 2 rounds in a row. That's why it's so impactful, because, again, we know the strong side arrival spawn has been great for both rosters, but finally Oxygen chains together 2 rounds in a row, the first team to do so. Normally, the first team to chain 2 rounds in a row is the team that ends up successfully closing out Vascar Escalation. So Oxygen could very well have catapulted their way to a victory to lead 2-1 in the series, because at this point we're tied up 1-1. As once again, just to recap, Regency 300 to 280, Elevate wins, Tomb 6-5, Oxygen wins. So this is still anybody's series, but obviously leading 2-1 gives you a distinct advantage.
3-2 in favor of Oxygen. Round number 6 about to come up on deck. I think Elevate needs to go for a little trick play here. They need to try to get an overly aggressive play, and they are. They're going to send 4 players over to this tank fight. They need to get a quick wipe here if they want this to work, though.
Zenun, big spot to be in, hits some nice shots. Does he stay alive here? Does the team pickup come through? No, it doesn't. And Yogurt, oh, whoa, and Noxious loses his life too. Man, Elevate was sticking the fight and really giving it to Oxygen, but in the end, Oxygen takes the fight back to them, and a quick round will put them at map point. I really thought Elevate was going to be in a much better spot, or excuse me, Oxygen was going to be, or Elevate, my bad, in a much better spot, but the way that Oxygen won that tank fight was just so quick.
I said they needed to have a quick wipe over there to be able to get those kills, to be able to push forward. And they don't get the kill. So what ends up happening is Oxygen's able to re-rotate, calibrate, and get all those kills to push forward for the triple cap domination that was gloriously done by them, and it puts them on map point, like you said. I'm just going forward right now. Elevate has to be very careful not to be timid. They were not timid in rounds 1 and 3. It's what got them a 2-1 lead in this map. And all of a sudden, it's like they're playing back a little bit. They're playing necessarily not to lose, not necessarily to win.
All right, Oxygen, big round for them. They've been very successful off the second half, clearly winning 2 in a row. Can they close this out 5-2? This would be the most decisive victory in the series so far between these 2 great teams, as everything has been so neck and neck down to the pretty much the wire. Crushmo finds an opportunity, pushes up, gets baited out, and Pushyz will punish him. Noxious now by himself, rolls into no man's land. He gets knocked. Yogurt now pretty much the last chance to be the hero.
He's got
Maybe
Zenun.
not. Zenun is there. He's got Zenun, and Abolics will fall. So again, another fight that looks great for one team goes to the other.
Yeah, but now you see Oxygen playing across the middle of the map. They're actually coming through the first half home hill and next to the spawn point of Elevate, so they need to be careful not to get traded out here. They need to push forward over to the E hill. They don't need to be able to get flanked on just momentarily. One player already dead. Rocky, I like that play. He's going to take one to the grave. He's not going to make this too hard on his teammates rotating in. Pushyz and Abolics try to get up on that cover, and that's just beautifully done by Elevate. They continue to hold their shots, hit big bricks, get a couple of downs, and they end up getting that kill, those couple of kills to rotate into this last hill. Crushmo, another shot on, gets the kill. 4 seconds left for the domination. Abolics might have a chance to touch it. He rolls in, won't be able to get it as he gets to that cover. That's 4-3, and Taylor, something I think can't be overstated in this situation is just how good, in my opinion, the boys from Elevate answered that round with team fire. Oxygen has been very good at skilling them. They've been able to get 1v1s and using blunt force skill to get kills, whereas Elevate said, we'll play as a unit, we'll rotate around the map, we'll play in each other's pockets, and we'll get kills.
And that's one of the things Oxygen has been great on, but the fact that Elevate brings that to the forefront is phenomenal, because Elevate isn't a team that necessarily has dominated in escalation. They're by far not one of the worst teams, but it's not their strongest game mode. But the fact that they are going toe-to-toe with Oxygen, granted Oxygen, one of their weakest game modes happens to be escalation, they're still doing a phenomenal job. This is a great series. And again, a big win for Elevate if they're able to turn things around, force a round 9. The possibility is 100% still there. And Elevate is going to overwhelm the Torque Bow and get away with it, and Abolics really can't do anything about it.
Well, you see what Abolics has to deal with. 3 Lancers in front of him, and you see 2 of them rotating back over here. Zenun's going to be in by himself trying to defend his home hill. Oxygen rotates the players across the middle of the map to get the pressure here, and now you see the play call come out. Elevate says, look, if they're going to 3v1 us, let's 3v1 them. Try to be able to get these shots onto Abolics. Abolics playing the top of the stairs now. Back A's, now a couple of bounces. Will go down finally to the kill of Elevate, and Elevate with a quick rotation. They're going to over-rotate through the spawn side of Oxygen to try to get onto this F hill. Noxious will be the first one into the hill. And if I'm player 8, you got to play Noxious to where he has to stay on that hill until your teammate respawns. You got to wait for a little bit of help. You don't want to try to solidify a 1v1 and then end up getting taken out. Now they need to look for the retake possibility. Zenun down. Yogurt pushing up to try to go for the revive. He's not going to make it in time. Beautiful team fire out from Rocky and Zoom here. They are playing a picture-perfect tag team on the D hill. Now you see Oxygen rotate through the middle of the map. E hill's all that's left to confront. I don't even know if you take this fight. Do you challenge this? Because you can see that the players are going to come off a spawn and maybe rotate that way. Maybe you just mount up, go for power weapons, get your utility back in favor, try to pick up a flag, or try to pick up an incendiary, a shock, and then shut this down. It's going to be a 3, maybe even a 4-man push to get the D hill back.
They're going to have to fight hard, and that uphill fight isn't always easy because you're going to get peppered. That shock is going to be phenomenal, but unfortunately, Rocky has to double back to get the pickup onto his teammate, but either way, no worries, no sweat. They handle it with ease. Noxious last up here for that retake attempt for Elevate. Not going to happen, and Oxygen will close out this map 5-3 and take the 2-1 lead overall in the series. Well done from them. We still have a lot to watch. Reactor is coming up next. Checkout will be map number 5, but I'm glad we get to check out these 2 great teams. Hey, we're going to be taking a quick break, but you better believe when we come back, Reactor Control will be next. Welcome back to the Gears Pro League Phase 2 Day 8. I'm Taylor Reflections Double, joined by Colin the Crow Clark. Oxygen takes a 2-1 lead over Elevate as they chain together 2 maps back-to-back, Tomb and Vasgar. We have Reactor Control coming up next. We know very well that when it comes to control in general, that's always been Oxygen's best game type, but clearly Elevate came to play today as they win Regency control 300-280, but Elevate is now in a spot that they should be familiar with, now having to fight back to win the last 2 maps, and it starts with Reactor Control, Colin, but we think the chances might be pretty decent there given the history of Elevate on Reactor.
Yeah, Elevate has played very well, especially late in the game on Reactor. They've done very well, especially at the mid lane hills. I think one of the things that can't be understated is, yes, if you control those corner hills on control, you can very much mount up a point accumulation. But those mid lane hills on Reactor are just as important. One spawns on one side by a power weapon, the other one spawns on the opposite side by the torque bow. Excuse me. And Elevate has done a good job in the past when I've watched them play this map of keeping games close by dominating those two hills, whether it be by team fire or setups. They have done a great job. Oxygen, to me, has to win these by playing four corners like it was 1960s basketball. They have got to play away from Elevate. They say, look, I don't even know if you sacrifice your life to the gods on those mid lane hills. As long as you play well enough at the corners, you don't find yourself in a position to give up those hills late in this map over to Elevate. I think that's how they have to deal with this.
All right, fair enough. We'll definitely see how those close quarter fights do end up going for Oxygen. They've got the series in their hands, Colin. This is their chance, their moment to take. I know they do not want to be the first team to lose to Elevate, but Elevate doesn't care who they beat at this point. They just want a W. They want to avoid relegation, and they want to finally break the curse of that Map 5 loss that has haunted them since the beginning of their run in Pro League in general. But it's going to be a fun one to watch regardless. We don't get to see Reactor too often. You know, it kind of started coming into the meta, but as of recently, we don't see it all that often anymore as we go into Spire, which, funny enough, we've seen quite a bit, which I wasn't expecting Spire to be as popular as it has been, because you even look at what Training Grounds that was added, right? Training Grounds wasn't played that much. It was more so Regency and others, but hey, I digress. Clearly they like it, but that's not up to discussion. I'm just going on a tangent, right? Reactor, it's going to be a lot of fun. Close quarter fights. What do we think, though, in terms of Oxygen's ability to kind of, you know, team fight off of that Vasgar? Because, you know, towards the beginning in that first half, Oxygen wasn't winning the team fights too often, or at least convincingly, but that second half was a totally different story.
Well, I don't even know if it was the team fights in the second half that started going in the favor of Oxygen. Again, Oxygen was able to spread Elevate. They were able to force Elevate into 1Vs, into situations where they're not probably comfortable. You will watch Elevate. So watch Elevate a lot in this matchup. You will see them try to have a guy in cover or a guy on the 90 with a Lancer and the other guy playing up. They do not like dealing with wolf packs. They don't like dealing with a lot of pressure coming at them at one time. Oxygen did this great job where they snubbed the guy in the back, which gets him to rotate, and then they basically let that guy skitter away. They said, look, pressure up onto him, separate this into two different 1v1s, allow our skill and our knowledge of how Gears 5 plays to overwhelm them. They got a lot of good kills off of that, and it allowed them to rotate around the map much easier on Vasgar.
Much easier on Vasgar, fair enough. What about the teamwork-wise, though? Who do you think has the better team-oriented look, right? Because Elevate has shown great teamwork. Oxygen, though, I think, has shown great teamwork more so in the past in their performances in Pro League in general. But tonight, has anyone truly impressed you on either side?
The rotations from Noxious. I'm a broken record when it comes to talking about how good he is and how perfect of Gears he plays, but I can't help but harp on it. Every time Noxious needed a rotation or to get over to a teammate to help him, he stands alone on a pillar. It is unbelievable to me how many years he's been a part of the game, a part of the community, a part of the PvP, a part of the competitive scene, and has still stayed pretty much on top of his game, continued to understand how to take fights, how to rotate around the map, and how to help his teammates. It is probably, how do I put this? I think it's one of the most underrated traits of a player, to be able to put your teammates in a winning position, whether it be by you lancering for them or you just pressuring up. You might not have a lot of damage, but if you get to a good angle, you can force an opponent to make a bad play and help your teammate get a kill.
All right, here we go. Game has, in fact, started. When it comes to Elevate, this is a must-win to stay alive, force a Game 5, which will obviously be on Checkout to finish us off, which I believe it's been canals for them quite a few times. So Checkout might be a breath of fresh air and a new opportunity to close out the series, but they've got to win this map first. Oxygen clearly has the lead, and off the rip, Oxygen's going to get the first early points, but we do see a bit of a pushback from Elevate. But are they going to be successful? Noxious, the player you were just talking about, he's going to be at the forefront looking to push in, and he's got the shot.
And now we're going to see the throw come out. We're going to see the extra kill from Yogurt. I love that. Taking his time, bouncing around. He knows that he has to line up the shot. Pushyz has a little bit of a flank here. Two players in front of him. Goes for the up bait. Doesn't get as much damage on that first shot as he probably would have liked to. Over the top is Abolics, and the setup right now, very good from Elevate. Abolics with two shots over the top, gets that down. What an angle from Abolics. This man just put out absolute bricklayer. He was putting on a house and a show in an apartment complex over there, baby. He's putting up rent signs.
Zoom is a guy that just is so impressive. When he was added onto this roster, and I forget who he replaced now at this time, but either way, Zoom has just been playing so incredibly well. Lights out, the Swiss Army knife, as he's kind of been coined, even going back all the way to the days when they were trying to break out of the Challenger Series and finally earn their Pro League spot with Zoom himself. He's just so good, man. It's so consistent and really can just be arbitrarily just playing on any portion of the map, any role, and he just kind of excels at it, right? He's just so good in general, but hyping him up so much, Oxygen's going to have to fight hard here as Yogurt and Crushmo look to go in for the break, and they're definitely got Abolics and Rocky pinned up. It's going to be a tough spot for them to break out of.
Now you're going to see what they do with this back angle. Abolics trying to push in here. He gets a couple of shots, little wiggle waggle out of him, tries to get that last shot in the down on Crushmo. And Taylor, real quick, just remind me, didn't I say that Elevate plays those mid lane hills very well?
Yeah, you did.
They lost the initial, but my God, if they didn't take the lead on that same hill. Now they're pressuring over to this corner. This is what Oxygen has to do. They have to win these corner hills, and they have to win them pretty convincingly. What a shot by Zenun to tag up Abolics, gets that kill inside of the hill. Zenun pressuring up now, goes to the top side of... That's cheeky. Putting the explosive above the head of Zoom so he has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and it's almost a guaranteed active splash damage torque kill. That's just gorgeous.
Yeah, whether it's, a direct hit or just choosing to reposition the opponent into a worse spot, right? I mean, these things matter, and they play a massive role, and great stuff coming out from Zenun overall with the torque bow, and you definitely got to keep your eye on him, especially if you're Oxygen, because Zenun clearly knows his angles and knows his way around this map, specifically when using that torque bow, and he's going to be a major factor to kind of deal with. I know he's taken out there, but the fact of the matter is, off of that hill, Oxygen was there pretty much all the time, but Elevate also had presence too, and they kept that hill contested to the point where Oxygen, who could have took a sizable lead, just ties up neck and neck with Elevate, and Elevate instantly retakes the point lead for themselves off the next hill. So that was a great last hill for Elevate, just as much as it was for Oxygen.
Great shot over the cover by Noxious, again getting a kill. Here comes Pushyz versus Crushmo. Great first body shot out of Crushmo. Hits a big spread. Needs one more to get the down. Goes for the reaction shot. Pushyz might have some of his health back, but it looks like right now Elevate's going to get their teammates back into the area quicker than Oxygen. It's going to be a full 4v4 right now. It's going to be a stand-up and stand-out team fight. Rocky with a little misroll. Almost gets picked off there by the back A, but great job firing back by him. You see the flashes coming out from both squadrons, trying to get stuns to be able to push up on their opponents. I love the little flank out from Rocky. Almost gets killed because he misses the first shot. Now it's a 3v1 in the hill. On to Crushmo. The up A gets a second kill, but there's the down. Two players left alive into the hill. A Yogurt up Aing into the hill, takes the first shot, gets the chunk on the second. Here comes the rotation after the revive, and one last player for Oxygen to have to worry about. He gets killed off into the hill, and Elevate have settled it up here yet again with another hill, another set of points, and they are going to continue to rack them up. They're going to get up over the 100-point marker here early in this map, number 4.
But Oxygen still knocking on the door to catch up with them. But Elevate, the fact that they do have that lead, you highlighted that Reactor was a map that they have been successful on in the past, and I'm clearly seeing why Colin with as well as they are playing and how in control they currently are. But let's keep it going as we see 109 to 58 at this point in time. Elevate really hogging that bottom side of the map, clearly wanting to set up early, or at least wanting to get over as a wolf pack, right, over towards the new hill, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Rocky has the torque bow, 4 shots to his name, and Abolics is also controlling mid. Everything is set up very nicely for Oxygen to close the deficit.
And Oxygen now, they get this mid lane hill, and this is the hill that I was worried about earlier. 3 bolts left in the torque form to worry about. In the quiver, gets the active off, so we know he's going to be able to rev up quickly. Gets the quick pick there on the Yogurt. I love that first shot. Revs up the second, sees that player hop the cover, but has to just basically throw that bolt away. He's got one more to worry about. He has the active. He's going to try to rotate up on a Noxious, shoots it over the top, gets the splash damage. Noxious bouncing around now. Here comes Zenun, trying to come up from that bottom side. Wrap shot out, gets the kill. 2 more players to worry about for Oxygen. They get one. The other one dies. dies as well. Oxygen, great defensive stand here at the Torque Bow Hill, and now it is up to Yogurt to just make something happen. Get a kill, take somebody to the grave with him, try to make this a little bit harder. Oxygen, though, with a 4-man full wipe, will get the points back to get the hill, the lead, and possibly make life a little bit harder for Elevate coming into this next one.
It's got to be hard. I mean, at this point, Oxygen continues to just fight back tooth and nail. That deficit wasn't really that much if you think about control in general this early in the map, too. 50 points could be cleared very easily off of one successful hill, and that one successful hill was the last one for Oxygen. So at this point for Elevate, they've got to be very, very concise in how they want to make this push. They can't afford to die off on this one and get more points over towards Oxygen because it can snowball very quickly in control. Getting those series of eliminations, though, absolutely a positive thing. Abolics rolls in by himself, picks up one, but I don't like that play call, and he would have had more value waiting for his teammates, but Rocky does have the Torque Bow in the back and connects onto one, so maybe there's still hope. But either way, I don't like Oxygen pushing together or pushing in as individuals. They need to wolf pack in together.
Now you see the Torque Bow revving up. One last bolt out. Gets the finish on that player who's down. I like the usage out of that. Crushmo has the nades, though. Crushmo has to be careful about using them. Throws them deep into the hill. Doesn't get anything to go with either of them. You hear both nades explode. Rocky trying to bounce around. This is what I worried about for Elevate. You can see how Elevate's now getting some team fire in the back, trying to get the extra help. They're going to push up into this hill. When Oxygen has fought back in this round, it has been because they've been able to spread Elevate out and force Elevate into basically 1Vs or 2v1s, 2v2s, whatever it might be, to where it boils down to mechanical skill. Elevate, when they're able to rotate around the map as a unit, they're able to get kills and they're able to continue to solidify hills. But did you see right there where Elevate basically took 3 different fights? That's exactly what I'm talking about, Taylor. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Colin, you're laying down the facts, bricklaying the truth. Okay, Colin, you have been on point all night tonight with your call-outs, brother. Not gonna lie, you really have been. I do gotta ask you, the Wizard, though, we're at 150, 148. Who do you foresee taking this map, brother? Because it's so close, but you've been on point, so I gotta challenge you a little bit more. Who wins it?
I'm going to go Oxygen. Elevate struggled late in the games right now to close out, and that's pretty apparent based on how that escalation went. They were having troubles early in the rounds, and then they couldn't close out. I like the extra rotation over to get the revives. My thought process is already blowing up into my face based on the teamwork of Elevate right there, but it doesn't matter because, again, it just goes to show that I'm correct in how I break these teams down. Elevate needs to be able to play together. They got to play as a unit. They can't play away from each other, and that's kind of Elevate's little Devil's Playground over there by the Torque. It's one of their better hills. I know they lost it earlier in this round, but you see how they're able to manipulate the area of that map to their benefit so that they can settle up on this hill, get up over the 200-point marker. It'll be about 210, 220 before they really have to push over to the next hill. I like what I see from Oxygen, though. They're starting to set up to try to stop the push of Elevate across the map. Noxious, though, says, you better not hide in the middle. You better not be playing no secret, man. I got a Torque Bow for you, baby, and it's got your name written all over it.
And he's connecting for sure with that Torque Bow and could very well set the precedence heading into the next hill, depending on how this ends up flowing. One is going to be in the middle. Rocky by himself, but making the most of it. Takes down one, goes onto the backside of Crushmo, takes him down as well. Will focus his attention onto Yogurt, but Yogurt stays alive. But for how much longer? The pressure is unrelenting. But the job well done as he gets Crushmo back into the fight. Who will get the revenge and the finish onto Rocky? Zenun, caught between a rock and a hard place, will be finished off himself. Oxygen has control of the new hill, and they're making the most of it. They've got Elevate squirming, running for the hills.
That is a great double down right there. 2 Lancers in the area, getting those downs. And hold up, wait a minute. At least 2 players. I'd have to look at the rest of them to figure out for certain. 2 of the players are using that bubble skin, so they're showing a little team synergy right now. They don't have Oxygen, doesn't have a team skin. Abolics has got the bubble Lancer too. Let's go, baby. Let's go. That's synergy. I like that. I like that right there, Taylor. That gives me faith.
Colin, you just hyped up, man. You hyped up on some orange juice, some chocolate milk, some Dr. Pepper, some nachos yesterday, which I don't even want to know the aftermath of that one. You set that one up crazily, by the way. Hey, I just want to say I want the lottery numbers if you're right about Oxygen winning this with how Elevate took off right after that statement, yet Oxygen is coming back. But you mentioned Elevate. Hey, late game, right? This is where they're starting to struggle. Oxygen starting to come back as we do enter into the late game. Both teams over the 200-point mark, but look at that DPS from Oxygen. That's the biggest thing, man. They are connecting and team firing. They are dwarfing the stats of Elevate.
Yeah, they definitely are dwarfing the stats right now. Elevate's going to go for this pick on the Torque Bow. A lot of Lancer Fires getting down after down. 3 in a row to be exact. Now the extra angle comes out from the mid lane. Look at player number 3. Pushyz has got the mid lane angle taken over. Noxious has to pull out of the team fight to try to challenge him. He goes down. Now 2 more players have to worry about their own life. Zenun gets caught in the crossfire. He goes down. Snub onto Yogurt. But they have left a player in the hill playing an anchor position, and with 70 points on this one, it could be 290 to 220. If they hold on to the whole kit and caboodle here, they could make this almost impossible on Elevate. They're going to have to push back up this stairwell. Full damage is coming out. Look at Abolics trying to hold that corner, but he misreloads. Those are the little things that could change the tide of a fight, that could find you down and out before you know it. Missing your actives could come back to haunt you, but thankfully Pushyz has a frag grenade with your name on it, baby.
Either way, though, Abolics is looking at a wall of Elevate members, and he can't make that push by himself. We've seen individual pushes from Oxygen in the past, but I really hope that's not going to come into fruition here, though. But they do have all 4 members, and the Wolfpack is going to come through. You'd have to assume Yogurt's going to be stunned, forced to back up out of that spot. That's going to give some leeway for Oxygen to get up onto the hill, but Yogurt's going to double back, take down Abolics and Pushyz. They're going to be picked back up. Good team revives coming out for the side of Oxygen. Either way, the ultimate collapse from Elevate is in. Noxious last alive in the hill, and he's going to quickly be taken down, and Oxygen will close the gap that Elevate gave to them, but the map's still far from being over and anybody's ball game.
Now you're going to see Abolics trying to rotate over to this next hill, but it looks like Elevate's quickly into the area. They are going to be able to get set up shortly on this hill as it starts to finish. You see just 10 seconds left. I like the little rotation here from Oxygen. A couple of players are down. Abolics lines up 2, gets both kills. 3v1 now on this last player, Crushmo. They need to be quick onto him. They can't let him come away with more than 1 kill, and thankfully they were quick enough. They're going to rotate over onto Noxious. Beautiful job. Now they're going to worry about the retake from the backside. 2 players, Zenun as well as Yogurt. Flash out. Zenun trying to look with the Lancer. Not going to be able to get much. Rocky has the Torque Bow meanwhile, and that's a long way away, but the shock will stop them from coming up the back lane and will buy enough time for Rocky to get over here. Rocky's got plenty of time to get into this situation with the Torque. First Torque Bow tag, gets the kill. Abolics is down in the hill. Second Torque Bow, missed just a little bit. Won't be able to get it, but headshot over on an action. That's a second to go, and you see him with 1 more bolt in the quiver. He's got to get 1 more kill. Utility nade out toward Rocky. He gets the stun, but Rocky gets the splash. He got the splash. He's got the dash. They got the hill. They need 2 kills.
They're going to be just inches away from victory. You'd have to assume Elevate's going to manage to at least contest 1 more time. Rocky's going to push Crushmo as 1 nade falls, Noxious out of the way, but does Elevate break the top side? Yes, they do. Only for a little bit of time, though, as Oxygen looks to push straight into the player 2. Abolics will take down 1, going for the second, but actually backs off. Player 3 now is going to be on the backside of Yogurt. He's going to have the angle. Rocky's going to have the front. That player is going to be put into the blender. He's going to be finished off. Elevate, though, does get to get the contestation, so Oxygen is going to have to fight for at least 1 more hill.
Well, here we go. Oxygen having to hold his hand over, Rocky's having to hold his hand over his eyes after that little flash grenade. Crushmo gets called out. They're down and out onto him. You see Oxygen starting to rotate over now. Less than 10 seconds on the hill and less than 10 seconds until victory. 7 seconds to be exact before they rotate out here. You see them coming from all angles, trying to pressure up onto the next hill. 1 second left. They're in the hill. You see Zenun. He has to push up here momentarily. Shock is going to be out. A little long of Abolics. Tries to push up. Goes for the body shot. Gets the stun, though, so he's able to get the kill, the meat shield, the revive, everything they needed to be able to fight back into this. You see it looks like Zenun continuing to try to press his luck here. Turns, burns, all 4 down and dead. Oxygen. They have 1 shot at this, and I've seen this story before, Taylor. I have seen it before. Elevate on the Torque Bow Hill, baby. This might as well be called home. They might as well have this called Boardwalk or Park Place with a couple of hotels.
Brother, you have said it best. We have seen this story many times, and the conclusion isn't pretty for the team that is just mere points away. Zenun gets some great connections. 3 more fall for Oxygen and Colin. They have 1 more attempt. That is it. Rocky was the last stand, at least for that moment. He ends up falling. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Oxygen has one more chance to break the hill and get the final 3 points. Elevate, they're knocking on the door of victory. Oxygen, you've got to make this count. If you don't, you're going to a game 5. This is the final chance. Abolics going to be on the outside. He's going to manage to get the other one. You got to get a touch, though. He's going to be there. He's going to be knocked. Push is going to push in as well. Is Oxygen going to be able to do it? Now you got to get through Noxious. Noxious is going to be on the opposite side. He's still going to be alive. Yogurt as well is going to push in. One player's going to drop. Rocky now going to be in a 1v2. He pushes off Noxious. Noxious is going to fall. Now you got Yogurt just up ahead. Can Rocky win the 1v4? The win? Is it going to be possible? Meat Shield's in, but he can't do it in time. Elevate has 3 more members. Oxygen's going to get the refresh. You got Elevate 2 points away. Oxygen 3 points away. Elevate able to get 1 tick, but not able to get the point. Rocky's going to be able to push over to Crushmo. Crushmo's going to win the fight. Abolics going to win it, and that's going to be Oxygen. Oxygen will close it out 300 to 298. Close out the series 3-1 and take the victory and give Elevate another close loss.
Holy moly, goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Or good golly, Miss Molly, great balls of fire. One way or the other, Oxygen does come back into this situation and gets a whole lot of kills there at the end. Rocky, my man, has got, you know, bullets like baseballs in that last hill. The way he was able to stand up and stay in that hill, keep it neutralized, and take fight after fight, and wait for his teammates to get back into that fight was so huge. The call by you, fantastic. I mean, coming down to the absolute wire, 300 to 298.
I mean, it's just so close. And you know what the thing about that, Colin, is you set it up perfectly. You said you've seen this story too many times and you know how the ending ends up. This is, it's so crazy to me that even though you are 30 points away, once you control that final hill and you win one more concise fight, like for example, Elevate, 30 points down, right? But they control the hill and they win that first fight, that first retake attempt from Oxygen. Now you start sweating. If you're Oxygen, you're thinking this might not be possible, and for a very good reason. Hey, at that point, Elevate, they're 10 toes down holding in. They're 2 points away. They are the ones who are now in the driver's seat. Oxygen, they're the ones sweating, the ones who let the ball slip through their fingertips. But ultimately, Rocky stays alive just long enough to allow for the cavalry to come. If he dies there, Yogurt gets the final 2 ticks. Bottom line, period. But because Rocky wins and sets himself up correctly with the meat shield, prolonging the fight, Oxygen is able to refresh, get in, and ultimately win the fight. But hey, it was a close one, it really was. But if Rocky doesn't stay alive with that meat shield, it's over with. We're going to map 5. Elevate wins that bottom line, period. Rocky, the absolute hero in that final hill.